Welcome to Subramani. Today I'm going to talk to you about how do you want to manage your retirement portfolio. There are two ways broadly. Suppose you're in your 50s, you have to sit and think about how are you going to manage your 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond. Right, so it's too early to say what will you do in your 80s and 90s, but initially you have to answer some simple questions. Do you want to create a bond, equity and others portfolio? I mean, it may include some REITs and gold and silver ETF or something like that. Or do you want to say, okay, I trust some fund house, so I will go and put it into a multi-asset single fund, which is I am hoping that will take care of all my requirements. It's more like a target date fund. Unfortunately, in India, we still do not have enough target date funds, especially definitely not for youngsters. Do you want to do this or do you want to do that? Or do you want to do a combination of some money in multi-assets, some money in discrete assets? Both have their advantages and disadvantages. First of all, let us look at what are the advantages when you go and create your own portfolio. You buy some direct equity, you buy some direct bonds, you could buy some gilt which is 30 years to maturity and saying, I'm not bothered about mark-to-market losses, so I will handle the volatility myself. So let's say you're 55 years of age and you buy a 35-year bond, or let's say even you buy a 30-year bond. You know till your age of 85 you are going to get 6.8% or 7% or whatever. Yes, it is going to be taxable. You are reconciled to the fact that at any point in time you will pay 20% tax. So you will anyway be coming down from 30 or 43% tax to 20% tax. And I don't think that you are going to be at less than 20% tax ever. So just go start and put some money in gilt. Maybe you buy an annuity which will start paying you when you're 70. Right, you have some direct equity and you have some money in a multi-asset fund. Therefore, you have covered gold, you have covered REITs, you have covered foreign stocks, right? So this is one way of doing it. The other way is to say, I will put everything in a multi-asset fund because that is the most tax efficient. I don't have to worry about long-term gain, short-term gain, anything. I'll put money in a multi-asset fund at the age of 55. And from the age of 60, start withdrawing 4% from it or 5% from it. I'm sure that the returns that I get will be more than 5-6% in that asset as of today. Going forward, we may revise it to 8% or to 3% depending on rates of inflation and rate of interest. So that's a very simple thing, and I've seen people do it. I've seen people, older people especially, who just go and put all the money in a State Bank of India fixed deposit or some bank fixed deposit and say, I'll get a monthly income from that and that's good enough. I know a person who did that with his money and said, I will put all my money only in State Bank of India fixed deposit, one particular branch, so that in case I have any problem, I can go to the branch and withdraw. And he was getting enough pension. So he was living off his pension, and this money was just money for jam. It was coming to him whenever he wanted a little bit, but he lived a simple life. Now somebody could say, I can't afford to do that, I need to do this discrete portfolio management. Like I said, it has its advantages because you can control your asset allocation much better. Suppose you have invested in equities and you have some metal stocks, oil stocks, technology stocks, etc., and you find that technology stocks are going up. You can sell the technology stocks, put that money into your bucket number 1 from where you're going to withdraw. When I say bucket number 1, I mean where you have your liquid fund, bank fixed deposits, annuities and all parked there. So because your technology funds have gone up, you sell off some technology portion and put it there. I'm not saying you sell equity because of the market conditions, but technology has gone up, or some metals have gone up, or some pharma has gone up, something like that has gone up. You bought Sun Pharma at 380 or 400 and today it is 1200. So you're happy selling Sun Pharma and putting the money there. Or you bought Happiest Mindset at 300, today it is 1100, so you sold there and put it there. So you can choose to be far more accurate with your asset allocation and risk appetite, and choosing within your whole portfolio, choosing being overweight, underweight, etc., right? You can make all those choices. But here it assumes two things. One is, it assumes that you want to be hands-on, you have the capacity to be hands-on, and you want to have all the complications of income tax return filing, short-term gain, long-term gain, then making sure that your long-term gain is at least 1 lakh and it is not too much more, and you pay 10% tax, or you pay short-term capital gain, you pay 15% tax, your dividends will anyway be taxable. So if you want to be hands-on, if you understand this, if you enjoy doing this, and if you have some assistance, don't try doing all this on your own suddenly at the age of 55 or 58, saying now I have time, I can do it. Don't make that huge mistake, because if you don't do a proper job, you don't have time to recover, right? So if you start experimenting in your 20s and 30s, by the time you're in your 50s, you know what you're capable of doing. But if you start doing in 50s and you wipe out, it can be very bad. Also, I've seen people struggle. People lost money in, say, the year 2000. They lost money in the year 2008. I know a person who panicked so badly in March, April 2020. That was a time when the corona hit, and this man had a lot of money in Franklin Templeton funds. Somewhere he was convinced that there is something wrong with the fund house. He sold off all his Franklin Templeton holdings, whatever he could. So he sold off all his equity also, and that was, I think, a disastrous time to be selling equity. But he sold off his equity and put that money into, I don't remember where, because many people in March 2020 thought it was end of the world. Now all these things, there is a lot of behavioral finance, and there is taxation also, which you have to consider. Now if you are in a multi-asset fund, the fall would have been much lesser in March 2020 because gold actually went up. Bonds didn't fall as much as equity did, but also understand that slightly lower quality bonds started behaving like small and mid cap instead of like the blue chips, right? So those things happen. So some portion of your bond portfolio fell, gold went up, your foreign equity would have definitely gone down, Indian equity went down, but the volatility in a multi-asset fund would have been like this, whereas in equity it would have been like this. The question is, do you want to handle volatility? How capable are you of handling volatility? How good is your understanding? How good is the service available to you? So I mean, you need a good broker, you need a good tax consultant and all that, or you are willing to do all this yourself. Or safe is to say, I will put all my money in a multi-asset fund and I will withdraw 4% from that. Let's say you put 2 crores in a multi-asset fund, which means you can withdraw about 60,000, 70,000 per month for your day-to-day requirements. And that's not too bad, because you keep some money in liquid fund, some money in bank deposit, maybe you buy one annuity, and other money you keep in a multi-asset fund, assuming that your fund manager will take a few right calls and a few wrong calls, and his right calls will be far greater than the wrong calls. So if you can do this combination also for your retirement, it is not too bad. However, if you are very clear that you want to enjoy the markets up and down, and you want to put, say, a portion of your portfolio, you have 2 crores, you want to put 25-30 lakhs in direct equity, you want to play around, you want to earn dividend incomes, you want to book your capital gains, you want to do sector weightage, you want to do company weightage, you want to buy, sell, then that is also not a bad thing. The question is, find out what you are going to enjoy doing, find what you are capable of doing, find what kind of help is available. Based on all that, you take a decision, not just that, oh, I am now 60, so I should put all my money in debt. That will not work for you, simply because many of us will live too long. So basically, your choice of whether you want to go into a single multi-asset fund, or maybe 2-3 multi-asset funds or a discrete portfolio, is the question of how hands-on you want to be. How much volatility can you handle? What happens if the market falls? What happens if you had a lot of Facebook in your portfolio and Facebook fell? How will you react to it? Maybe Facebook is a good buy at this price, or maybe you should sell more of Facebook. I am not getting into that, but I'm just saying, how would you react to it? How alert do you think you will be at 75 to do all this? How alert do you want to be, right? And also, are you concerned with tax efficiency? Are you sure that you will be able to manage the kind of help that you have? So combination of all this should be able to decide how you want to manage your money in retirement. And you have to take these decisions at about 54-55 and say, okay, from 60 I want to do this. Also, even in such cases where you are managing a discrete portfolio of bonds, of mutual funds and direct equity, maybe some gold ETF, etc. You have to decide that at some stage I will involve somebody other than my spouse, because my spouse may not want to handle such a complicated portfolio, and then I will tell my friend, son, daughter, friend, son, or somebody like that how to handle this portfolio once I am not there. So once you're not there, your wife may be perfectly capable of putting everything in a bank deposit, paying some tax, and having a less thing to worry about, right? So all possibilities are right. The question is how much money you have. Like if you sat down and calculated that you need 2 crores and you have something like 14 crores, then there is no question, any asset class, anything will work for you, because even keeping all the 14 crores in a bank deposit won't be too bad, considering that you don't care a damn about inflation because you have adequate money. You don't care about taxation. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, you're earning money, you're going to pay tax. It doesn't matter if you earn 10 lakhs for yourself and 10 lakhs for your wife. It's more than sufficient for you to meet your day-to-day living. So just withdraw 10 lakhs from each fund and be done with it, because you need 10 lakhs of cash flow. You don't need 10 lakhs of income. So some portion coming from your capital, some portion coming from your income, and you paying tax on that is perfectly. And 10 lakhs you're not going to pay too much tax. First 5 lakhs will be tax free. You can put 1.5 lakhs in, say, ELSS, and that's good enough for you to meet your day-to-day expenses, right? So you decide based on your own capability, your own taxation position, how hands-on you want to be, and also taking a decision at some stage. I will, at the age of 70 or something, I'll say I'll go to a index fund, an annuity, and a bank deposit. I do not want to complicate things further because I do not have anybody who is going to handle it for me. For my mother, who is 84 years of age, I'm handling her portfolio. So to her, it doesn't really matter whether she's in debt, equity, etc., because she only knows one thing, that whenever she needs money, she'll be able to find it in her savings bank account. She need not know beyond that. But however, if somebody is not going to manage it for you like that, you may have to make your choice. Thank you.